Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
On the mound.
Judge hits that in the air to deep center. Guerrero back, looking, he's done it again. Rizzo drives that in the air, down the right field line. It is gone.
Today is Friday, May 19th, and the Yankees are in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark to take on the Reds. Clark Schmidt was on the mound trying to put together a decent start and give the Yankees offense a chance to put up some numbers. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope your weekend is off to a good start. Yankees weekend is off to a good start. They picked up a win in the first game of the series versus the Reds. That's 4 out of 5 on the road trip so far, and the Yankees are looking good right now. I have to start off by saying, in all seriousness, that was one of the worst umpire performances by a home plate umpire I've ever seen. I'm not sure if anybody else in the chat was picking up on this because I haven't seen any comments about it, but that was seriously horrendous for both sides. You're talking pitches 6 inches outside getting called strikes, pitches low getting called strikes. And it wasn't like it was 1 or 2. There was probably a dozen calls tonight that were absolutely blown. Horrible umpiring. But luckily the Yankees swung the bats just enough to get it done. I felt like the strike zone was so big that for a large portion of the game, it was stifling the offense. You know, guys aren't swinging out of the zone, but they're calling it out of the zone. So that changes at bats drastically. Clark Schmidt was on the mound tonight. Yankees have had a couple of tough series in a row. The bullpen has been pretty wiped out. So you couldn't afford one of those Schmidt show type of outings tonight where he goes 2 innings and gives up 5 runs. You needed him to step up. And he stepped up. He had a pretty good start, I got to say. You figure the Yankees were going to hit in this ballpark and against this pitching staff, but, you know, for the most part, they didn't until late in the game. We have a couple of home runs, but like I said, I think the umpire was kind of holding things down. Still no Ben Rortvedt sightings. Until he takes an at-bat or catches a ball behind home plate, I'll continue to believe that he's some kind of a Gary Sanchez defense-induced mass hysteria situation. I want to see the guy play before I concede that he exists. Aaron Judge. I mean, what can you say? Guy started off the game once again. He's on fire.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Judgy and blast.
I tweeted that while no park can contain Aaron Judge, putting him in this ballpark, which is pretty much the best home run ballpark in baseball, was like giving brass knuckles to Mike Tyson. Solo shot, 13th home run of the season so far, leads the Yankees despite missing some time with the injury to his hip. 431 feet. He makes it look too easy. It's no sweat for him to hit a ball 430 plus feet, dead center field, right center field, upper deck and left, doesn't matter. Makes it look easy. And I'll tell you what, if he keeps hitting 1 per day, he's going to be leading the league pretty soon. I'm not sure who the league leader is right now. I haven't been paying close attention because Judge was kind of far behind, but he hits 1 a day. You know, he's going to put up some numbers. Reds put 2 runners on in the bottom of the third, but Kyle Higashioka made an outstanding throw to nail a runner at third base. Absolute laser beam. He had a tough day offensively for most of the day, but he came through later. Yankees narrowly avoided a sticky situation with Clark Schmidt in the 5th. He came out to the mound, and the umpires made him go back into the clubhouse and wash his hands. And you might remember that happened to Domingo Germán once before he got caught and thrown out of the game. So that makes you wonder, what the hell is going on? You know that the Yankees aren't putting illegal substances on. You're not going to risk that. Is it too much rosin? How can you have too much of a legal substance? I think Major League Baseball needs to solve this problem, and they need to solve it double fast. It's getting ridiculous. It's putting undue strain on pitching staffs because you don't know what's legal and what's not. Come on. Get your act together, MLB. Top 6, Yankees strike again. Judge walked, and then Anthony Rizzo.
Track at the wall. Anthony Rizzo.
Don't you ever come back here again.
Gabrielle says, league fan base is already going crazy with the sticky thing. It's getting ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Derek Masciano says, umps don't like Rosin in the dugout. They want to see it happen. They want to make sure that they're not sneaking anything else. Come on. This baseball, just let them play. This game's been played a certain way for 100 years. As long as the guys aren't rubbing that goop, that spider tack all over the baseball, I say let them play. Reds made it interesting in the bottom half of the top of the 6th. I forgot to mention this. Rizzo has pretty much more home runs in Cincinnati than anybody in baseball. I can't remember if they said he's got the most, but it would be a shame to sit him in this series. You got to play him every day because he's so comfortable here, and then you get a day off. So let him play through this weekend. You got an early morning game on Sunday. 11:35 a.m. So, yeah, got to let him play. Reds did make it interesting in the bottom half. They knocked Clark Schmidt out of the game, cut the lead to 3-2. Overall, Schmidt was okay. He threw 5 shutout innings, ran out of gas. I don't blame him. He never pitches this deep into the game. His own fault. But he did run out of gas. Top 7, Volpe picked up a base hit, and then I thought he was going to steal second, but interestingly, Oswaldo Cabrera bunted for a base hit with him on first base. Why not just send Volpe there? Instead of, I don't know if he was bunting on his own. If he's bunting for a hit there on his own, that's stupid. You got Volpe on first base. Let him steal second and then try and knock him in. What are you doing? And if it was the Yankees giving him the bunt sign, why don't you just let Volpe steal first? He hasn't been caught yet. Then you can bunt him over to third. Interesting. Albert Abreu did a nice job in relief in the 7th. 2 straight good outings for him. Let's get a little recognition for him turning it around. Huge hit from Kyle Higashioka in the 9th, 2-run double. He had been 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, so that run was enormous. Frankie says that Clark wasn't complete, Schmidt. I like that. And then Harrison Bader followed up with a line drive single to make it 6-2, and the Yankees hang on to win the opening game of the series.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
Eastside thinks Waldo's getting traded. Interesting.
You're a winner.
We got Severino coming back on Sunday. This should be a pretty fun weekend. Yankees play tomorrow afternoon at 4. They got a 4:10 game, and then it's 11:35 on Sunday. So don't mess up and screw up your times. But we got to award the belt. A lot of good candidates tonight. Obviously, Judge got things started. Clark Schmidt had a good start. Higgy threw that guy out at third, and he hit a big 2-run double. But to me, the swing of the night came from Mr. Anthony Rizzo. So, all right. See, it sounds like in the chat we got some people excited to see Severino. I love his energy. I think the Reds are a good team for him to come back against. And because you've got the day off the next day, you can use the bullpen. The Yankees didn't have to use Clay Holmes tonight. If you can avoid using him tomorrow, you can probably get 2 innings out of him in middle relief. And I think he would just cut up the Reds. The Reds are not a good offensive team. If he comes in and throws, maybe the 6th, 5th, throw 6 outs and take some pressure off of Luis Severino, who's just going to be working his way back from rehab, let him throw 4 innings. Then go with Holmes for 2 and then close it out. Oh, yeah, I got to mention this. I just saw this before the game. Yankees reacquired Greg Allen from the Boston Red Sox. Now, Greg Allen, you might remember a couple of years ago, was a spark plug. He's an outfielder. He's very fast. He's been kind of bouncing around from team to team since the Yankees let him go. They chose not to re-sign him. But I always liked him. I thought he was a high-energy player. And it's clear that the Yankees are starting to consider options for outfield depth. You know? We don't have a lot of outfield depth to go around. Bauer's now hitting 194. He was 0 for 3 tonight. And Cabrera, who played left field, right field, and third base tonight, was 1 for 3. He's hitting 207. The one hit was a bunt single. You got to get more production out of the outfield. Now, Allen is not necessarily known as a speed demon. As a great hitter. He's more of a speed demon. But he's not one of those guys who's going to put up huge numbers. So this feels like a depth piece, a just in case. Frankie says, former belt winner, Greg Allen. 2021, he was with the Yankees. All right, let's take a look at this box score. Let's see here. Safari, bam. All right, so Bauer's 0 for 3. Bader came in to pinch hit, had 2 at-bats. He was 1 for 2 with a ribby. Judge, 1 for 4 with the big home run and a walk. OPS now over 1,000. Torres 0 for 3, another tough night for him. Calhoun 0 for 4. He just seems like he's swinging a very soft bat lately. Just don't see much pop. He'll put a good swing on it, but the ball just won't go anywhere. Volpe 1 for 4 with the base hit, hitting 216, OPS over 700 now. Cabrera 1 for 3. Higashioka 1 for 4 with a couple of ribbies. Hicks 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks. And the pitching did a solid job tonight. The Reds obviously not a great hitting team, but Schmidt gave you not a quality start by definition, but a quality start by his standards. Cordero through a scoreless innings was very pumped up. Abreu, I mentioned, looked good. Peralta looked good. Couple of strikeouts. And Nick Ramirez closed it out. So let's go ahead and put the highlights back up so we can watch through that. Parkson says, Hicks back to being himself. Yikes. O's currently leading the Jays 4-2 in the top of the ninth. The Jays come into that game behind the Yankees. They are 25-19. Yankees now 27-20. So Yankees moving up the standings, now in third place. Obviously, they will not gain on the Rays or the Orioles tonight. Rays won 1-0, as they do a lot, it seems. And the Orioles obviously winning over the Jays. Let's see here. Jacob says, no more Schmidt shows. So with Severino coming back and Herman on the IL, I think you're going to have to see at least one more start. I think you're going to see one more start from Clark Schmidt. And then maybe he'll go to the bullpen. We'll see. 16 home runs from the Polar Bear. The league leader, I guess, in the National League. Pete Alonso. Interesting. Raleigh says 6.5 back from Tampa with 100 games left. Let's sweep this series. This feels like a must-sweep series. This feels like one of those series where you just can't go half-ass and lose a game, frankly. You got to win games while you have a chance against these weaker teams. Now, we had a couple of tough series back-to-back, Rays and Blue Jays, but in between, around those, they're sandwiched by the A's and the Reds. Yankees took care of business against the A's, who are now 10-35. Unbelievable. And the Reds are 19-25. So they're much better than the Athletics, but they're 18th in runs scored. They've got a -37 run differential. And even when it comes to just the way they played tonight, that's about as good as you're going to see the Reds, and the Yankees still handle them. They pitch the Yankees pretty tough. NYY News Ruben, still on Florial, says 4 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, 26 walks in 29 games, and has a slash line of 295. I'll tell you why that doesn't mean anything, because that's AAA. He's already proven that he can hit AAA pitching. He hit AAA pitching last year. Go look at his numbers from last year. They were very good. He can't hit a major league changeup. He can't do it. They exploited it. If he was any good, he'd be on the Yankees because he can play defense, and he's a left-handed hitter, and he's in his mid-20s, and he was a top prospect at one point. David Smith says quality start would be 6 innings and 3 runs or less. That's correct. And Val says time to gain some ground since the O's and J's are playing each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ariadna says, do you think we should play Allen over Hicks? I mean, I would do it, but I don't think the Yankees will. Hicks has actually been swinging the bat a little bit better lately. He's bought himself probably another couple of weeks at least. But also, he's got a lot of money committed. So we know that Hal doesn't want to just flush that money down the toilet. So. Andy Yang says, Schmidt had a decent cutter tonight. I disagree. I think it looked decent because of who he was facing. Good team would have lit him up tonight, I think. Banakev says, Jays wanted all that smoke and haven't recovered from that ass whooping. That felt good. That was a great series. So, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, I had a talk with Pete. We do a Friday show. Comes out an hour before the game. It's live an hour before the game. And we talked about pretty much everything that the Yankees have done this season. We talked specifically about the Blue Jays series that we just watched. We had a lot of comments on, what we saw, good and bad and ugly, quite frankly. Main takeaways were that we love the way Judge is swinging the bat. We do think that Volpe is improving every day despite the occasional hiccup. And Oswaldo Cabrera is not swinging the bat well enough. He needs to figure it out. But it's a great conversation. It's about 28 minutes long, so give it a try if that's your thing.
Game over, man. It's game over.
We gotta get out of here.
Ariadna says the Orioles would be a first-place team in every other division.
You gotta go.
And Ruben's still on the Florial thing. Says Florial's never been given a real shot at the major league level.
Shut up, bitch.
Yes, he has. We watched it. We've watched it a ton. How many at-bats does he have in the major leagues? How many fucking at-bats does a guy need before it's considered a chance? Let's look it up. Estevan Florial. He's been around since 2020. He's had last year he went 3 for 31 in 17 games. Year before that, he went 6 for 20, so 300. But last year, 3 for 31. He hit .097. I don't know, what else you need to see? And it's not even just about the stats. Watching it, he can't hit a changeup. It's obvious. He's so far out in front on changeups, it's stupid. There's no way. No chance. Anyway, we are in third place now. Sounds like something to celebrate. I'll celebrate that with you, Ruben. Andy Yang says, Florial passed through waivers, which means every Major League Baseball passed on him. Yes. Anybody could have had him for free, for nothing. He is completely cooked, as THG says. I don't think he'll ever play with the Yankees again unless there's some kind of an injury. He's off the 40-man roster. The Yankees would need to clear a man off the roster in order for him to play. It's not going to happen. Guy can't hit a changeup. I'm sorry. As Val says,
he can't hit for nothing.
And with that, we're going to call it a night.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.